Namaste, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be going over how to balance out that throat chakra energy center. We've talked about the general overview. We talked about the overactive and the underactive throat chakra, but now we're going to be finally talking how to fix it, how to balance it out. I know it can be a rough ride when it's not balanced, right? So since the throat chakra is all about living your truth, your true authenticity, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you are unable to tell the truth, if you are unable to live in your true authenticity, you need to figure a way to live in your true authenticity. You need to figure a way to tell the truth, right? So if you are a compulsive liar, but you acknowledge the fact, okay, I don't want to lie anymore. This is a bad habit that I've developed, since childhood, and I was taught by some role models. Even it goes deeper than that. That it was kind of okay. I was kind of conditioned that it was okay to lie. And now I'm an adult, and I'm trying to have real, authentic relationships. I'm trying to present myself in a much more real and authentic way. I want my energy to be a little more magnetic. I want my energy to be a little more high vibration. I want to have better outcomes in my life based on my choices. So I want to work on it, right? So what you can do when you go to tell that lie, when somebody asks you, like, hey, what are you eating? And your impulse is to lie about that. Yeah, it's going to require a lot of conscious thinking, a lot of conscious dissecting of your own thoughts, because this is a process. Lying is just not something that somebody does or doesn't do, right? There's a little bit more psychologically that goes into lying. When you learn the process of why people lie in the first place psychologically, you gain a little bit more sympathy and a little bit more understanding in their direction. And a lot of the time it's just stemming from childhood, and they were taught somehow in childhood that when they presented their true authentic self, when they presented themselves in a real raw way, somebody shot it down. Somebody made them feel like that was not good enough. Somebody made them like crush their dreams, right? And that made them put up walls. That made them develop certain defense mechanisms, because that made them feel like the truth was not good enough. That made them feel like if they presented them their true selves to people, they were always going to be rejected. That is that ego trying to take control and be like, never feel like that ever again. We never want to feel those sad, low vibrational feelings ever again. We don't want to be made fun of. We don't want to be ridiculed. We don't want to be any of that for our true beliefs, our true authenticity. That was a horrible feeling. So we're just never going to present that to people ever again. We're going to really kind of manipulate what they think or feel about us, because at least that's our way of controlling the situation, right? And all this kind of happens on a deeper level. You're not just thinking about this in your head, going over it when you're lying, right? But really it's going to require a lot of deep diving on your end. But the first step is acknowledging that. So when the throat chakra is balanced and aligned, what you say and what you do, they're going to add up, right? That's another big step. If you say you're going to be there at 10 p.m. sharp or 10 a.m. sharp, be there at 10 p.m. sharp, 10 a.m. sharp, whenever you're supposed to be there at that time. Stay true to your word. People are really going to take that at face value. Actions speak louder than words. That is one way to just fast track yourself to authenticity. Say what you do and do what you say. So somebody who's in balance, when you speak, you will get your point across. People will really be like, okay, like they will really understand what you were trying to say, and you will get the outcome that you are trying to gain, right? So for example, if you're trying to spit some lies and do a little bit of manipulation on a situation, that vibration feels a little bit different, right? So you may have a different reaction to people, opposed to if you are just like, hey, look, man, I don't have the money, like straight up, I'm sorry, I can't pay for my gas or whatever. I think I'm just going to have to walk home. If you're a little bit more real with people, they might be like, oh, you know what, man, that sucks. Let me give you $5 for gas. That sucks. You left your wallet at home and you ran out of gas or whatever. Opposed to you walking up to somebody and being like, hey, I'm homeless. All my kids have cancer or whatever. You're trying to manipulate it out of somebody. You're going to have a different reaction, because they may be like, oh, they may sense that. They may feel that kind of desperate, weird energy vibration. That a lie is always going to feel a little bit more icky than the vibration of purity, of the truth, right? And if you're a little bit more energetically sensitive, if you're empathic, a lot of the time you're actually able to kind of sense stuff like this. You can pick up on stuff like this. So that comes to my next point, right? You will be more of a human lie detector if your throat chakra is balanced out. And this is why. If you have a balanced throat chakra, you are going to have a very kind of high, pure vibration. It's going to be vibrating at a certain level, right? Your overall frequency. If another frequency comes at you that is not resonant to your frequency, it's going to be triggering, it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel, it's going to feel disharmonic. So I think we've all had those conversations with people where we're sitting there and we're kind of questioning their motives for talking to us, or whatever the conversation is. We're kind of questioning, why are you telling me this? What do you want? What's happening? That's not because of something they said. That's just because of what you've gathered throughout the conversation. And when you think about, how have you gathered this information? Oh, it's a feeling that I get. It's an emotion that comes along and that is associated. It's just the vibes I get, right? Opposed to somebody who's being extremely genuine, who you're having like a heart-to-heart conversation with. You can feel that genuineness. You can feel that connection, that raw, real authenticity between you guys. You can feel the difference. And right now, I actually want you to think of 2 examples of moments like that you've had, where you're like really feeling the conversation, having a genuine, awesome connection, maybe with somebody new, or somebody you've known for a long time, or opposed to a time where you're kind of sitting there like, oh God, like, what is this person doing? What do they want? They're a hot mess or whatever, right? Like, really think about how it felt. The difference. Very important to discern. So some ways to balance out the throat chakra are screaming. Right, you can scream into a pillow. You can go out in your car where you are not going to be labeled a crazy person for just randomly screaming. You can do some singing, sing in the shower, sing in the car, sing in front of people. That's even better. Anything that gets that energy flowing and projecting out of that center, that is going to help enormously. So any chanting or om, or any kind of, I think it's specifically for the throat chakra, I believe it's hum, maybe. I don't know, you can look up the resonant chants. There's a very specific vibrational frequency that kind of helps. You can listen to binaural beats. You can look up on YouTube. They have all kinds of singing bowls, all kinds of different hertz frequency healing music that helps, that works wonders. You can use color therapy, chromotherapy. If you have not seen my video on what chromotherapy is and how it can benefit you, definitely recommend going back and checking that out as well. Breath work helps. Doing any kind of breath work, look up breath work or pranayama for the throat chakra and whatnot. Eating any kind of foods that are at that resonant frequency. So any kind of like blueberries, blackberries actually work too. Blue spirulina. I knew I was missing something. I was like, I knew I had something on the list. Blue spirulina. That's definitely a good one. It's actually one of my favorites. I get it a lot in my smoothies and whatnot, out and about. I love how I feel after taking it. I feel like I get a rush of energy. So yeah, wearing blue or just surrounding yourself in blue in general. A lot of people take like a bath and add some like, natural dyes and whatnot, blue, or they'll add some like flower petals that are blue and whatnot, that kind of help balance out that vibration, that kind of give that vibration life and energy. We can also use crystals and essential oils. If you haven't seen my video about crystals and how that works and why it's beneficial, why they're beneficial, definitely go check that out. We can definitely go to our local Reiki practitioner or any of our local shamans or any of our local energy healers, and they will help us to kind of balance that chakra out. A biggie is incorporating things that you genuinely love, that are genuine expressions of your personality, into your everyday life, right? What do you love? Do you love painting? Incorporate painting in your day somehow. It doesn't matter if you're too busy, right? We all think that we're too busy. We all feel like we're too busy, myself included. But we may find that we're limiting ourselves, essentially. The thing is, I highly recommend replacing your boring job with something that you are truly passionate about, truly something that fuels your creative life force energy. Figure out how to add value to others, to this world, through your creative expression. And once you start to do that, and when you start to get that feedback, when you start to get that clarity, when you start to get that benefit, that fulfilling feeling of doing that, there's no other feeling. You're gonna love it. You're gonna want to chase it. You're gonna want to make money off it. You're gonna want to, because there's no better feeling of expressing yourself authentically and truly, and having everybody validate and accept it and love what you have going on. And there's so many people out here in the world right now that your people are out there, your tribe is out there, right? You know, a lot of these concepts that I talk about on this channel are so out of the ordinary, are so kind of out of the norm, right? It took me a long time to make this channel because I'm like, people aren't ready for this. People don't want to hear stuff like this, right? These healing modalities, the chakras, stuff like that, we're so socially conditioned to not believe things that we can't see with our own eyes. We're so conditioned to have our ears closed off to certain concepts, right? And it's really not our fault, but at the same time, there's a lot to catch up on. And there's a lot of things in this world that are subtly affecting us that we're not even fully aware of, to be able to have our true power, to live in our full power, right? Everything that we're capable of as humans, we're unable to step into that because we are ignorant to even what that entails. So I want to help. I want to live in my true authenticity. These are concepts that I love, that I believe in, that I know to be very valid and relevant and true. And I've basically made that decision to clear my throat chakra. Because you know what? When I was feeling pulled to share this information, to speak about it in some way, shape, or form, to get it out there in some way, shape, or form, I would get I would get knots in my throat chakra. I would get that feeling like something's missing, like I needed to clear something out, like I had a blockage. And so once I started speaking, once I started making videos on this channel, and I started getting certain feedback, it was just a world of difference. Like, okay, I'm validated in some way, shape, or form, right? In a way, this really isn't my info. This is really universal source info. This is really the universal truths and dynamics of this universe. This is the fundamentals of this universe. But I just couldn't ignore it. My throat chakra gets knots when I'm unable to share this information, or when I see people being so affected by not knowing this information, or by not knowing certain concepts. I can help, and I can't sit around any longer. And that is a good thing to balance out your throat chakra. You have something like that personally. You have your thing. That's my thing. You have your personal thing that is itching and waiting to get out as well. There's something that wants to express itself through you. Your creativity wants to get out of the cage. So I highly recommend you let it, you guys. Let your creativity and your true authenticity out of that cage. Get out there and break all your comfortability levels. If your fear is public speaking, get out there and start public speaking. Like, work through it. Look your fears dead on and go tackle them, right? That's the way to kind of, another way to fast track through aligning your chakras. Dive into it, you guys. So, you know, I did throw in a couple extra little rants in there. I hope that wasn't too personal, or that wasn't too throwing you off, too much throwing you off. But I hope you all have an amazing week. I hope this helped bring a little bit more balance to your life, a little bit more clarity to your life. If this helped you in any kind of way, if this chakra series is helping you in any kind of way, or any video I've ever made about self-help or self-empowerment or self-awareness or psychology, yeah, go ahead and support me, you guys. Let's do the energy exchange. Go ahead and hit the little thumbs up. Go ahead and hit the little notification bell so you get my future videos, so we can kind of go over more topics like this. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Heart this time. Namaste.